All right, welcome back, guys. Over a 12% drop over the weekend. Is this because of the coronavirus fears, or is this the plus token scammers? Not sure. Either way, it has happened. So we need to look at the charts, see what we can see, break it down. Let's talk. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. Live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. Remember, these are my own ideas and opinions on the market. So please do your own research, trade at your own risk. I am not responsible for your trades. Hit the like, comment, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications, and let's keep it rolling. All right, looking at the market. Woo! Red day. Okay, just all across the board. 15% down today on EOS, and this is just the last 24 hours. I said over 12% over the weekend. So Bitcoin in the last 24 hours, 8%. You got 14% BNB, XRP down 12%, Chainlink, still even Chainlink is down 4%. Tezos 11. The volume has picked up. It's over 1.4 billion on a Sunday. This is unheard of. This is part of the reason I didn't see this dump really coming to the magnitude that it did. Often it's super slow on the weekend, or you will see, maybe a large manipulation candle, but nothing to this degree. Usually just very low volume, but we're over 1.4 billion right now. The CME gap is humongous. We'll take a look at that as well. All right, but guys, we got to stay calm, and we got to consider all things, and we'll talk about that throughout the video. I'm sure the subject will pop up. All right, so crypto fear and greed index down to a 33. That was posted last night. We'll get a new one in about 4 hours. We'll have to see. This might even be lower, guys. The block halving is 67 days away. We're getting closer and closer, but I don't think people were predicting this right now, okay? And this is from yesterday, but I just wanted to start the conversation here. Bitcoin coronavirus, a bigger Google search topic than the Bitcoin halving. Over the weekend, the news stories about the coronavirus just kept rolling in. They have quarantined northern Italy. They're no longer the soccer games in Italy. There's going to be no fans in the stadium. The NBA, National Basketball Association, and the United States also considering not having fans at the NBA games. Tokyo talking about postponing the Olympics this summer, and they may or may not, but there's scientists, officials that are saying that they really should. And then you have deaths being reported on the East Coast now. In Florida, you have deaths in California, Washington. This is going international. People are freaking out, and the price is dropping. And now on top of this, they're saying the plus token scammers. These are the people that were supposedly responsible for dumping price last year from 14K down to 7K, 6.5. And now apparently they're unloading on us again. All right, this is crypto. Stuff like this happens. You can see 12% over the weekend. I was not anticipating this bad of a drop on a weekend. Had this been, say this drop started on the weekday, I would have jumped on the bandwagon. I would have been ready to short. I just did not expect it to be this bad on a weekend. Like I said, let's look at the gap. This will have the proof in the pudding. So the gaps are formed. This is a pretty big gap here, I would say, though. But the gaps are formed because the CME is for institutions, basically, and they don't trade on the weekends. The CME is closed on the weekends. So when price moves over the weekend and then reopens on Sunday evening, you will see a gap in the price. So each gap represents a move that happened over the weekend. I am seeing this one here, but I haven't seen a dump like this on the weekend. And also the thing about these gaps, look, all right, so let's just take a look. We had a gap here to here. That's about a 7% gap. That was in 2019 on the run up. Another gap here, about 5%. And we had a gap here, looks like 5%. This gap here, let's take a look at it. From this to bottom, about 8%. 9%. So this looks like the largest gap we have ever seen on the CMEs. Okay, you had a large one here as well. But the thing about this gap that's very different is the fact that, okay, you saw we were bullish going into the weekend and price continued bullish over the weekend. Again, here we were bullish during the weekday. I don't know if I said that right here. We were bullish during the week and then continued bullish over the weekend. Here again, bullish over the week, continued bullish over the weekend, okay? And again there. And here as well. So we were bullish over the week and then continued over the weekend. The difference here is we were bullish on the week and then dumped over the weekend. It's not like we were dumping and then continued dumping over the weekend. So I was not expecting this. I was expecting, little gap, maybe possibly open up with a small gap and then have it bounce back today or tomorrow. So this is out of the ordinary. This is not your typical gap play. So am I going to say that this is going to get filled today? I don't feel like it will. Will it get filled tomorrow? There's always a chance. Expect the unexpected. But a type of gap like this with the downward pressure we are seeing, I'm not sure. I mean, anything could happen. But we could continue farther down. This gap might need to be revisited another day, another month. Who knows? Okay. So I just wanted to point that out. This is not your standard play. So I will not be judging my next move based off of this gap. This is just too much. And that would be insane if we just rallied up straight from here to there. I mean, that would be crazy. It could happen. And if we did, I would expect to get rejected. So all that being said, also what I want to talk about too is this happened over the weekend. You're not going to be able to catch every single trade that happens in Bitcoin. You're going to have, first of all, we all have to sleep. So you can't, catch every move. What if it happens in your sleep? There's going to be celebrations, graduations, weddings, birthday parties. You're going to have vacations. You're going to be sick. You might be in a hospital. You might be injured. You have the weekend. It's impossible to catch every single move. So, yes, I am a little upset that I missed some of this. Of course I am. I would have loved to have shorted this. Love. But, I was busy on the weekend. I usually don't trade on the weekend. It's expressed this in many videos why I don't usually trade on the weekend. And, I missed it. But this is the glass half full. We are at lower levels that we can accumulate at. And you guys know I'm a margin trader. And this is really why I moved to margin. And guys, I hope you don't mind, I am going to talk just a little bit here. We will break down the charts, but I have to get this information out because this is important. The reason I picked margin trading is because I believe in Bitcoin long term. So inherently, I am just holding Bitcoin. I am a hodler in a way because I'm holding my Bitcoin and using margin leverage trading platforms. I can short, I can long, and my goal is to stack more Bitcoin. I don't care at what price it is, and I've said this in several videos. I don't care what the price is. I'm just trying to stack more Bitcoin. So this is the thing. I still have the same amount of Bitcoin today as I did last week, okay? I took a tiny loss. I was claiming bull flags. We'll get to that. I saw bull flags in the chart, but when I saw the move starting to happen, I let my members, my VIP group members, I let them know I'm closing all my trades. I stopped out, basically break even. So my Bitcoin portfolio, the amount of Bitcoin I have, hasn't changed since earlier in the week. Okay, yes, the USD value I have lost. That's for sure. But I'm not worried about the USD value. I'm worried about my Bitcoin value. And all I care to do is stack more Bitcoin. So there's going to be trades in here. There's going to be trades maybe down here. There will always be an opportunity for me to increase my Bitcoin portfolio. If I wasn't using platform shorting and I was worried about the USD value, I would be so discouraged. If I had not, taken profits here, we have dropped 22%. That if I'm looking at my USD value, of course I'm discouraged. That's the type of stuff that makes people panic sell. But I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin. I'm just going to try and catch some good trades down in this region. And then you know what? One day I do believe we will go to all-time highs. And maybe I'll start cashing out down there. But in the meantime, I'm just stacking more Bitcoin. And so I can miss a move like this. Yes, it kind of hurts. I would have loved to have put a 10x short on this. I would have made 100% ROE based on that trade had I caught it up here. Of course, that would have been awesome. But you know what? I can still stack up in here. And then when we take off, I'll have even more Bitcoin than I did up in here, okay? I was happy with the amount of Bitcoin I had down here, and I'm still happy with the amount of Bitcoin I have right here, okay, guys? For me, this is a long run, and this is why I margin trade. If you're interested in learning how to margin trade, or you just want to join a group and have some exclusive charts, have Q&A, ask me questions, or be a part of community, contact me. The information is down below for VIP group members. All right, so I got all that out of the way. Let's break it down. Let's go to where do we start? The 4 hour, the weekly? No, let's go to the weekly. Guys, this has been insane. All right. So I showed you there's definitely the CME gap, but I'm not going to be too concerned about that. Okay. If we fill it, we fill it, but it's not because of the gap. All right. At least I think. So if we look at the moving averages, let me take off the 50 moving average. I don't need that one right now. We closed back. Okay, so this is ugly because yet last week's candle closed beneath the yellow 21 EMA. We've been talking about on this channel, above was a bull market, below a bear market. It was great when we got above it. Everything was bullish. Everyone's bullish. And then we closed last week beneath the yellow 21 EMA. It was like, oh guys, this could be pretty bearish, bear trend, bear market. But we managed to rise, and you can see by this wick, we rose over the week. We rose back above the blue 10 simple, back above the yellow 21 EMA. It was looking potentially bullish. We had some bull flags that were playing out, at least being painted on the chart. They didn't end up, making that next leg up, but they were obviously painted on the chart, okay? I've seen the pattern. It is what it is. It doesn't mean that they have to always play out. Patterns can break out any which way, okay? But so we were back above here, looking good. We were looking, on Friday, we were above here. It looked like if we closed above the blue 10 simple, that this was just a little bit of an overshoot and we could have continued our rally. And that's why I was bullish on Thursday and Friday. If you look at the CMEs, the CME closed its weekly candle back above. So if the institutions trade on CME, the CME chart to me holds a lot of weight. So to see that the CME closed back above, I was like, well, that's one good sign. And on Friday, we were back above. And it had its potential. But now this just looks like an attempt up and a rejection, and we closed the weekly back beneath the 50 EMA. Now what it looks like is 100 EMA is definitely in the cards. We don't have to. Price is at 8,035, but the 100 EMA is definitely a potential target coming down at 74.23. We just had a little bit of a bounce on the daily. We'll get there, and we're temporarily rejected. The 50 EMA is going to be your resistance at 82.28. So on the weekly, 82.28 resistance, 100 EMA support, 74.24. Not looking good. The Stokes officially crossed down on the weekly. Guys, the trend is your friend, and right now it is bearish. So what does this mean? On lower time frames, you will have relief rallies. I say this isn't going to go straight down. I told my members, there will be bounces and then just dump, dump. Unfortunately, I didn't trust the weekend and I was gone for most of the weekend. But, it is what it is. Like I say, you don't have to panic. There's always another day to trade, especially if you are worried about stacking BTC and not worried about your USD value as much. It makes my life way easier. All right. So just just a thought. Just a thought. So going back to the weekly, let's look at the Ichimoku clouds. Also, if we lose this, you're talking about your green 200 EMA down here, and that's at 5,900. So one step at a time. But if we continue dumping, there's your first level of support. There's the next one. All right. So our Ichimoku clouds, let's go to those. We did not hold this level. We closed well beneath the cloud and beneath your blue conversion line. You have resistance coming in at 84.62 on the weekly Ichimoku clouds. All right, these Stokes are bothering me. That's not good to see. We could just start falling. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yes, we do have a higher high on the weekly here. So could we form a higher low, a higher low, and try to break our way back up? That's still a possibility, okay? But it's not looking so good. Let's look at the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands close back beneath the middle BB. So last week we were finding support above the middle BB, and we had made that bounce, so it was still looking good on the end of the week. We looked fine. This weekend candle just destroyed everything, so we're in the bearish zone for now. Okay, let's go down to the daily. The daily, we did hit the bottom of the Bollinger Band, so possibly why we are finding some temporary support here, okay, guys? We did get rejected by the middle BB. This was acting as resistance when we were up here, and we were rejected. 81.50 was definitely a horizontal line of resistance that we were interested in, and I'll show that in just a second. Let me close this out. And we were rejected from it. You can see right here, we did not get above it. We had this line drawn out for a long time. We've had it drawn out since basically over here. You had resistance, and then you flipped it as support, and we broke through, and it found resistance again. You also had, and I tweeted this yesterday, that you had this rising channel right here that was rejected. So we were down here when I tweeted this. We were rejected. Rising channels tend to break bearish. We were rejected by the horizontal support, flipped resistance. If we had broken this channel, I was looking for a bit of a dump. I wasn't expecting that, but breaking that was a signal. If you were on top of it, I just wasn't at my computer all day yesterday. I missed it, but I did post that. So if anyone was watching and ready to take action, that was available for you guys. And let me keep moving with my indicators. Taking a look at the daily closed beneath the 377, beneath all moving averages. Got rejected here already. Today is coming in at 81.78. This candle came up to, where are we, 81.91. So we had a little bit of a bounce and already rejected off the 377 on the daily. Your stochastic was rising from the bottom, also was a potential good sign last week, but now it's crossed back down, not so good. What else can we look at? The Ichimoku, we found support last week on the top of the cloud, and we even closed above the pink baseline, but now we're beneath the cloud. So your resistance top of the cloud is coming in at 83.87, okay, using daily Ichimoku clouds. Your RSI is low on the daily, but it has room to go. So if we want to keep dumping, it has plenty of room to keep going, guys, okay? So, and your blue conversion line and the pink baseline are coming closer together. You could potentially, if this crosses over that's going to be a bearish Kumo cross. So also not a great sign. So the trend right now is bearish. It was started bearish here, once we dumped and we, broke that rising trend line on the RSI that we talked about, once we broke that, we had lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows. So this is still lower highs, lower lows. So if we do get a bounce, we're going to be looking to short the bounce. At least I will be. If we just blast through it, so be it. But that's also why we use stop losses, and we don't just I don't just buy and hope that it goes to the moon. Okay, I'm ready to get out of a trade quickly if it goes against me. Okay, so while I'm on that subject, let's go over to the 4-hour real quick. Take a look at what had happened leading up to this dump. Okay, so we were over here, right? So we had we had resistance here, and we broke this resistance. We were sitting right here trying to break the 91.50 resistance. It looked like a bit of a bull flag. We had this pull up. We were going sideways, and I was looking for an attempt up. To me, I was giving Bitcoin the benefit of the doubt that this correction was over. Why did I think possibly it was over? And maybe we were, and then just the plus token people just started dumping. You have to always be prepared for black swan events, things that are unexpected, because if you're not, then you're not prepared and you just lose everything. So that's why I had a stop loss. So anyways, we dumped down to the 0.5. We bounced off the 0.5 fib. It was looking good. We broke back above the 0.382. We had this resistance here. I was aware of the resistance. We had the bull flag, but because I knew we had the resistance, I had a pretty tight stop on here. And, going into the 1 hour, I saw this. Okay, so my stop was here. I saw this going up into profit, and I was like, okay, we're breaking up. Finally, going to make some money. And then I saw it dump real hard down. And when you see that, that is often a usual fake out. This part of the move didn't surprise me. This happens in Bitcoin all the time. It'll go for the breakout and get rejected and then dump. So as I saw that happening, I closed this guy out around break even. I closed out my altcoin trades. I had a couple altcoin trades because I also saw some bull flags, and we'll look at those briefly at the end. And I was out, okay? I was out. I wasn't like, oh, we're going to the moon and then just watch my portfolio get destroyed on margin here and then liquidated. No, I was like, all right, I'll trade another day. But I knew that the resistance was here. So typically you don't want to long into resistance. Typically you want to buy support, sell resistance. But I was, I thought maybe this was the correction. The correction was over, and maybe we'll just continue on up. We saw that Link was bullish. Link looked like it had the same pattern, and it even was consolidating above its highs. I'll show you that in a second. Tezos was following behind. It looked like, Tezos was one step behind Link, and maybe Bitcoin was 2 steps behind Tezos. So I ignored potential bearish, indicators, thinking, all right, well, hey, Bitcoin could do it. Let's do it. But no. All right. So that's why I was prepared, though. Okay. I took the break even here. Anyways. So now we're at the 0.618 on the fib retracements. Okay. Let me go to the 4 hour. Now we're at the 0.618. I did talk about, when we were talking about the bull flags here, I did say that we were at resistance. I said it looked like a bull flag, but I also said it did look like resistance. And if we did dump, the next level, if we couldn't hold the 0.5, would be the 0.618, which was right around 8,000. And that is our temporary bottom. As of now, this is the bottom. We also had this diagonal drawn. Let me zoom out so we can see that. We've had this diagonal drawn for a while. It held the price here, along the way here, held price here. And I said, hey guys, if we do lose the 0.5, the 0.618, golden retrace down at 8K, It's lining up right around here. So we'll have to see, does this hold? Do we find some support? Do we bounce off this and keep riding? Or are we just going to go down to 6K? We'll have to see, but the 0.618 is the golden retrace, so I'd like to find some type of temporary relief in this area. I have no trades open. I've been gone from the house, came home, wanted to do this video. I'm not going to FOMO into a position right now. Of course, I would love to, well, my first initial thought is where can I find a short, okay? But after this heinous drop, you know, we might get a little bit of a bounce. So I'm not going to just immediately jump into one. I'll just take my time and find a good setup. But I would like to find some support in this area. If you do not, we definitely, you know, the next level would be this 0.786 right here. You can see this. Where's that price? I can't really see the price. It's coming in, okay, at 7,400-ish. So this could be another target. If we do lose this rising support and the 618, you might find the 7,400 area. And looking back at the CMEs, you do have this gap here. This is coming around 76.95. You know, there's usually a bit of a price difference between CME and, you know, Coinbase or Bitstamp. So, you know, to fill that gap, you might go down to 7,500. You know, you're going to find some support in here based off of this trading as well. Okay, if we do lose that, you're talking mid 7,000s. But look at this gap. We can even extend that more. This is our gap now. We haven't had a gap like this ever since I've been recording these YouTube videos. So this is pretty wild to see right now. Let's go back to the chart. So the fib retracement is a valid retracement or indicator to use to look for next targets, but we'll see if we can hold this. Okay, another horizontal, we can go ahead and draw one right now, would be the top of these candles. And okay, you can see how we had resistance here and then flipped it as support here. So this horizontal is at 77.80. So yeah, if you lose 8,000, 77.80, 770.50, and then 7,400 would be my downside targets. You are finding resistance here. You had resistance here before, so now I'll probably find resistance again. This is at 82.20. Okay, so if you are able to get above that, your next resistance line is coming at 85.18, 85.50. That's where we were finding support here. That would be flipped as resistance. So break out the horizontals, and those are going to be your levels, just to keep it simple. You know, to finish the breakdown, we'll look at the 4-hour indicators, and I'll go on to the altcoins. Okay. So looking at the 4-hour, well below all the moving averages. You know, these guys don't like to separate. The price doesn't like to separate from the moving average so much. So, you know, they could act as a magnet, you know, get a little bit of a relief rally and then probably a rejection. Your Stokes are super low. So, and the RSI is low as well. So, you know, this, you know, the 0.618 golden fib, that rising trend line coming from 3K region, you know, combined with the 4-hour Stoke being low and the RSI on the 4-hour oversold, could line up for a potential bouncy bounce area. Okay, we'll see. Doesn't have to happen, but this would make sense as an area for at least some type of relief. Okay, Bollinger Bands, just riding on the outside of the Bollinger Bands. You know, when you're closing on the outside, it's super trendy. So this trend is down, okay? But if you're closing on the outside of the bands, you know, on the upper band, then it's bullish. But this one's definitely bearish, closing each one been below the bottom Bollinger Band, okay? And then the Ichimoku clouds, your Ichimoku cloud resistance way up here. So, you know, you could, like I say, it could act like a magnet, drawing it back up in this region, coming in around, what, 8,600, all right? So, you know, like I say, I think the best thing to do is play it level by level using the horizontals. You know, the indicators aren't, you know, your moving averages aren't going to be too much help on the lower time frames, unless you just want to go real close looking at the 15-minute. I mean, if you use the 15-minute Ichimoku cloud, you can see that there was just you had this resistance this whole way down. We can probably see the same thing on the moving averages. So yeah, we never broke. So if you were watching this closely this whole weekend, we never broke above the yellow 21 EMA, maybe slightly in there, but not by much. So the yellow 21 EMA on the 15-minute really held price down, and then the blue 10 simple as well. Okay, guys. You know, when price is moving super fast like it was, that's when you might look at the 15-minute or the hourly. You're not going to be able to catch the trade if you're using the 4 hours. Typically, I like the larger time frames, but when it is moving fast and you want to play that fast, you know, type of trading, you can look a little closer. But you're playing with fire when the price is moving that fast, okay, guys? I don't think anyone was really expecting this hard of a drop. So, you know, this happened, and this is why I moved over to margin trading. Like I said, this is why I prefer margin. You know, altcoins got destroyed. Let's take a look at the altcoins. It's already been 30 minutes. You know, it's been a few days since I recorded a video. There was a lot to talk about. You know, with this coronavirus scare not slowing up at all, you know, I'm bearish on price until, you know, we start seeing some bullish signs. I mean, we need to get back above the 21 weekly EMA. We almost did it this week and then failed. So moving forward, I am not that bullish in the short to mid term. All right. Until, you know, unless we see something else happen. Let's look at just a few of these real quick. Don't want to make the video forever. You know, Tezos, this is now a lower high and a lower low on the daily. You know, the thing is, we were held down by the 21 weekly EMA for days. We closed back above it. This was bullish. We closed the daily back above the moving averages, finding support over here. This also looked like a bull flag playing out when we were up here. Looked like a bull flag. You were above all the moving averages. There was no reason for me to not think that we had potential to go up. You know, I mean, there was good reason, you know, to do it, but knowing that anything can happen, that's why I had, you know, a stop loss. This trade, I was actually able to close out above my entry, so no loss there, negligible profit. But you know, I didn't want to see this happen to my, you know, to my Tezos stack. I wasn't going to watch that happen. And guys, we're beneath all moving averages, higher, lower highs, lower lows. You know, this is bearish. I'm not looking at altcoins until we're bullish. You know, I've been avoiding altcoins for the majority of the past, like, I don't know, past 7-8 months. I haven't been trading altcoins, and you know, I started looking at them on the channel with you guys, and you know, these bull flags looked like they had potential, so I put in like this trade and a Link trade, and I'll show you why I looked at Link too. You know, like this. Okay, so this were your highs. We had horizontal resistance here on the daily. You know, if you could draw this horizontal resistance here, we were able to close back above it. We were finding support of it. Looked like a bull flag. So there was no reason for me to think that Link wouldn't go higher. But again, anything can happen. I had stop losses. I did take a little loss on this one, but it was just a 1% risk on my portfolio, so not a big deal. We lost this trend line here, and we have you know, fallen deeper. The thing with Link, though, Link, you know, seems to be slightly acting like a hedge. You know, people who, people, you know, that don't use margin trading, they might use Link as a hedge instead of Tether. So this could, you know, rise. I saw, you know, when Bitcoin was falling still, Link was rising here. So could you see that? Possibly. But for me, I would just rather short Bitcoin and you know, leave it at that. Here's the problem with some altcoin trading. With altcoins, you have to look at 4 different charts. You look at the altcoin chart, okay? And then you need to look at what Bitcoin is doing, because if Bitcoin dumps, they all dump. You also need to look at your Bitcoin dominance chart as well, okay, because the Bitcoin dominance shows, okay, this means that Bitcoin dominance is falling, then the altcoins are performing well. But over here, Bitcoin was rising, but the dominance was rising as well. So it was better to be in Bitcoin, even though they were all rallying. It was still better to be in Bitcoin because the dominance was rising. So you need to look at the altcoin USD chart. You need to look at Bitcoin's chart to know if you're going to dump or not. You need to look at the Bitcoin dominance chart to see if it's better to be in Bitcoin or the altcoins. And then you might even want to look, at the Link BTC chart to see how Link is performing against Bitcoin. Okay, so you're looking at 4 different charts for an altcoin. With Bitcoin, I just look at one chart. Bitcoin. Is it going up or down? I can short it, I can long it. Life is way easier. With some days it's slow, go enjoy your day. It's just way easier for me. All right, that's why I do what I do. But I'm going to keep my eye on some of these altcoins for you guys. But they're all falling. If Bitcoin falls, they all fall. Look at Ethereum real quick. And I'm not doing a full breakdown on these. I just rather talk about the strategy. This, to me, that's more important. All right, so what can I say about this on the daily? Lower highs, lower lows, also in a bearish trend. The weekly candle was looking all right earlier in the week, and now still above the yellow 21 EMA. This is okay to see. If we could rally from here, then you could say Ethereum's still in a bull market, but I don't know. With the way things are going, we could continue farther down. I have this trend line coming down on Ethereum and one coming up. So we could bounce around in here going further, all right? Your weekly stochastics coming down on Ethereum. Look, they all move together. Sometimes they move, at different rates on different days, but in general, they all move up or they all move down, okay, guys? So right now, it does look bearish. I'm looking to short Bitcoin on bounces, and that's that for now, guys. All right, so don't panic. We'll just take this one day at a time, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.